good, y'all? Dang, man, I ain't gonna lie. It's been a minute. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully y'all boys being safe out there. Can get to the video though.
84% jump from last year. This came in the midst of my Ravens punishing Houston and the NFL having a massive Netflix day. Now, the biggest draw, of course, was still LeBron and Steph. And I think it's safe to say these two have carried the last decade, and to this day, viewership-wise, they still do. If you don't quite believe me, look at the last two playoffs. Last year's playoffs, if you exclude the pandemic-affected years, was the lowest playoffs watched since the 2010s. Meanwhile, the 2023 playoffs was one of the best viewership-wise in years. Now, the reason for this is very, very obvious. In 2023, the Golden State Warriors were the reigning champions. Last year, they didn't even make the playoffs. In 2023, the Lakers made the playoffs again and actually made the conference finals. Last year, they got gentlemen swept in 5 games. In 2023, Stephen Curry and LeBron met in the second round. And what exactly do you think happened? Fireworks. That one series was the most watched non-conference final series in almost.
We gotta understand, bro. Like when two greats go against each other, like more people gonna watch. Like it's gonna be more people tuned in. It's gonna be, you feel me?
Almost 30 years. These two players, at going on 37 and 40, are still the NBA's main attraction. And that's exactly why we see this conversation everywhere. Today's video is sponsored by Draft Full of offer you as to what could buy yet fantasy. Sign $50 in bonus sports.
Guys living up to the superstar mantle. It's like, well, they put a lot of their marketing ideas and dollars and eggs in Zion's basket. He has not lived up to it.
If you look at some of the most famous NBA documentaries emphasizing a specific era, they typically have one common trend. You normally see that passing of the torch type moment. The Dream Team documentary, you can clearly see it with Magic and Bird, the kings of the 80s, passing it to Michael Jordan, the undisputed new king of the 90s. The Last Dance that released 4 years ago, they made sure they added Michael Jordan coming into cross with his new mentee, Kobe. Historically in the NBA, who has next always mattered. Even if you look at this Kobe-Steph moment, it holds so much weight because it's a passing of the torch approval type moment. That one specific season, Stephen Curry went on to win his first NBA championship. The following season, Kobe's last game was also being aired and shared viewership-wise, with Golden State breaking Chicago's 72-10 record. That's back then when the NBA had crazy aura because we knew exactly who had next. It doesn't really feel like we have that anymore. And to me, outside of the excessive threes, that's the biggest problem. The biggest problem with the NBA now is this.
Meanwhile, New Orleans, Zion Williamson in a familiar spot.
And definitely this.
NBA regarding
Zion Williamson in a familiar spot.
Ja Morant and the suspension handed down from the NBA, and he will be suspended for 25 games, according to our Adrian Wojnarowski.
Oh, and most definitely this.
Ben Simmons not only will not report for the start of the Sixers training camp next week, he intends to never play another game for the franchise.
The NBA has a massive young star problem, and that's simply what it is. In 2016, Ben Simmons got drafted, and he was literally projected to be the next LeBron Magic archetype. But after brief success, even having the sports media say the craziest things, Ben Simmons' name, game, and ultimately his fame, it just plateaued. This game right here was actually Ben Simmons as a rookie leading Philly to their 13th straight win against Cleveland. If Ben Simmons became what he was supposed to, imagine what this one moment would mean to NBA history.
What kind of growth have you seen in Ben from the start of the season to now this game? For the first time you played him to now?
I think the best teacher in life is experience, and he's, every game he's experiencing more and more, learning the game. Obviously, they're, coaching him the right way, coaching to his strengths. And
basically, I feel like what he's saying, trying to say is they're trying to pass the torch on, but there's it's too many young stars to know who's going to be identified as that one GOAT, and you feel me?
You know, he's a student of the game. Obviously, I know that probably more than you guys. I've been around him much more even in the city. So, you know, he's a student of the game. He wants to be great, and he's definitely showcasing that.
Now, Zion Williamson, he's really the big one to me because he joined the league really at that sweet, pivotal NBA crossroads spot. And the damage he did, not seizing that opportunity and really fumbling it to historical measures, is really why the NBA looks how it looks today. At the time Zion joined the league, think about it. It was really tailor-made for him to take that next generation throne. LeBron had just missed the playoffs for like the first time in his prime.
That has to be like one of the worst feelings as a franchise, like as a, you know, like say you took first overall pick, right, and then all of a sudden they become a bust, bro. Like you just wasted all your money on this man. Now he coming out here, now he not even performing well, none of that. I'm like,
the Warriors dynasty looked to be over. Kevin Durant, who was the NBA's villain and who had just won 2 of the last 3 finals MVPs, that era was over and he was gone for like a year and a half. Russell Westbrook, who was breaking the NBA with all of these triple doubles, he went to Houston, so that was naturally going to come down a bit. And really, everything was aligned for Zion Williamson to be that next face, and he just wasn't. Think about it like this, and if you want to know why the NBA is struggling marketing-wise, this is why. Zion was drafted by the New Orleans Pelicans in 2019 with the first pick. Jackson Hayes was also in that exact same draft class, and he went to New Orleans with the 8th pick. Jackson Hayes has played 51 more games for the Pelicans than Zion Williamson has. Jackson left 2 years ago. That's quite literally the problem. Zion Williamson has been in the league now for 6 years. Literally every superstar, if you look at the NBA historically and today, they lead their team in games played, especially for the first 6 years of their career. Zion only has 40 more games played for the Pelicans than Josh Hart. Josh was only there for 2.5 years and he's been gone for 2 years. This is why I say it feels like players, specifically young players, they just don't love the game anymore. They love what it does for them. They love the lifestyle, but they don't love the game and legacy. DeAndre Ayton basically cried for that contract, that max contract in Phoenix, and after he got it, he literally disappeared.
I haven't spoken to him. No, I haven't spoken to him at all.
You could say, okay, well, maybe DeAndre just didn't get along with Monty Williams. And after Monty got fired by Detroit now, and Detroit looks way better, okay, maybe that's justifiable. Well, no, that's not the case at all. Listen to DeAndre Ayton's head coach now, Chauncey Billups, before he got drafted and what he had to say about him back then.
If he can come close to that, this guy's going to be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I'm a big fan of this kid. But I really am a fan of this guy. I think his game really translates.
When DeAndre Ayton was like in that playoff series, bro, like he was actually like putting up good numbers. He was getting good rebounding, putbacks, all that. I'm like, okay, he's a good little solid forward. I mean, good little solid center. I'm like, dang, he might be, you feel me? But now he's saying he fell off.
And I'm with you, Paul. If he plays with the same type of intensity that KG does, even a little bit, with his ability, he's got a great career ahead of him.
And listen to what he said about him now and why he had to bench him for a whole second half.
Is there a reason that DA only played the first 2 minutes of the second half?
I like the spirit in the game.
This is a #1 pick on a max contract who was supposed to be a generational type big that plays with no spirit still. I love Ja Morant, and I think he's incredibly needed for the NBA's marketing. And to some extent, he let the NBA down. Christmas Day 2 years ago featured Golden State versus Memphis, something that seemed to be becoming a brand new rivalry. Y'all thought y'all hated players like Dylan Brooks and Patrick Beverly? Well, they're great for the NBA. Ja Morant, in his first 6 years, just like Zion, 2 American stars in the exact same draft class. He's not even in the top 3 with games played in his first 6 years. And stuff like that is the problem. Jalen Green showed moments. This is a #2 pick in the draft 3 years ago, but he still has yet to take that significant leap, and we know he has talent. Scoot Henderson, this man was paired with Wemby. After a down year, he comes to a press conference visibly fried, and then the following season, he's injury prone, and he's gotten worse.
Kind of what do you look back on about your rookie season and kind of what you learned from it?
I look back at the good food that I had. Yeah.
LaMelo Ball, he was once like a media darling, and I love his game. But Honestly, I don't love it to win. It's like down there in Charlotte, they have a culture of bad basketball. You pair that with LaMelo not ever really being there consistently, and this is why the NBA has a massive problem. You know why the NBA used to have so much aura back then as opposed to now? It's because Allen Iverson, one of the most popular players ever, led the NBA in minutes multiple times. For his career, he averaged.
So I feel like back then the players loved the game, like they loved the grind, they loved the hustle, they loved like how they got there, and they want to dominate even in the NBA. But now it's like they here, they got the money, they got the bag. Now they want to chill. They just want to play a little couple games. They win, they lose, you know. So it's just like this is a different mentality.
41 minutes a night. Shaquille O'Neal, for as much shit people give him, he's never missed a playoff game in his career ever. Kobe Bryant in his prime played 94% of his games. James Harden, you know why his Houston years are so memorable? It's because he gave you so many moments because he played 95% of his games. Russell Westbrook, until he turned around 30-ish, didn't miss games. Kevin Durant, before that Jones fracture in his foot in 2014, didn't miss games. Stephen Curry, he had ankle injuries. Still, in his first 5-6 years in the league, he led them in games played.
This is the good stuff that's still going on in the league on a night-to-night basis.
Shit. If you guys like this video, let me know in the comment section how exactly you guys feel about.
Yeah, man, I told y'all how I feel. How do y'all feel about how NBA going and stuff like that? You look into the comment section. This is how the NBA lost its aura, but first draft. No, for real, it's crazy. And we lost his aura when Chris Smoove wasn't able to post the game recaps. Yeah. I used to always watch Chris Smoove game recaps on YouTube. I used to always watch it. But it's crazy. Hope y'all like the video, man. Boy, stay safe out there, man. Go!